Hello and welcome back to another edition of NJCAA All Access. It is Thursday, February 22nd. I'm Zach McKinstry.
I'm Alexa Wesselman, and somehow we are about a month away from basketball championships starting, which also means every game that these schools play, it's imperative that they win.
And there was plenty of excitement in the basketball landscape last week, so we start today with our Juco scoreboard. It was a big week for the underdog, upsets all over the place, and the first one was a fun one. It's been a bit of a down year for the defending national champs John A. Logan, but they got the best of number 4 Vincennes in overtime. The Vols trailed by 2 with under a minute to go, but some good pick and roll action sets up Elliot Loundis, who pops the net from the low block and ties it up 61-61. Other end, under 30, Kent King runs out of real estate and turns it over, giving the Vols the opportunity to win it on the other end. Down to 10 seconds, they go back to the big man whose shot won't fall, but he is fouled and will head to the line for the lead with 3 seconds remaining. The 7-foot sophomore calmly drains them both to put the number 4 Trailblazers against the ropes on the road. Vincennes needs a miracle. Only 3 seconds to go, down by 2, and the baseline home run pass is batted around inside the arc and tipped into the hands of Ryan Oliver, who gets it to go at the horn and sends this game to overtime tied at 63 apiece. 2 minutes remain in overtime. And how about this big-time 3 from Caden Hawkins? He puts the Vols up by 5, but the Trailblazers would trim the lead back to 3, and then, with 60 seconds left, a strong drive and putback by Vincennes cuts the deficit to 1. They get it back and get an open look for 3 for the lead, but it won't go, and the rebound sends Logan back to the free throw line. Down to 7 seconds. Vols miss both. Now or never for the Blazers, who spin into the paint. First shot too strong. Put back rattles out, and the third shot falls. But after the buzzer, no basket, and the Vols pull off the upset, 72-71 over the number 4 team in the country. Now, if you thought that was exciting, check out the final 30 seconds in number 15 Hutchinson's upset win over number 9 Cowley. Take a look.
Here we go. Dallas with it. Tigers got to score on this possession. They force Hutch to go in. There's a steal. Go the other way. Here comes Kobe Smith to the rim. He got the shot and the foul. 3-point game here. And it's off the rim, no good. Won't go over the rebound. 18 seconds to go in the ball game. Tigers have got 4 timeouts. Wonquo with it. Pull-up jumper. 3! He sends the nets! Jeff Wonquo hits a big 3 with 6 seconds to go. It's a 1-point ball game. The shot is good on the other end by Kobe Smith. And a timeout, I believe, was called. Oh, my gosh.
Tigers were stunned by the Blue Dragons in a great finish. And lastly, yes, this is a real score. Number 18 Chipola wins the season series over Northwest Florida with a 45-41 win in a game without a lot of offense. The upsets didn't stop with the men. Number 2 Gulf Coast State continues their skid, falling in a tight win against number 14 Pensacola State. The Chipola women eked out a win over number 4 Northwest Florida. And another great finish saw number 5 New Mexico fall to number 11 Odessa in OT. More news in Division II. Number 7 Iowa Lakes win streak concludes at the hands of Southwestern. And number 4 Mesa drops a game to number 14 Pima, 69-62. And lastly, in Division III men's, Central Lakes upset number 4 Minnesota North Rainy River 92-89 as we approach the regional tournaments. As Alexa mentioned, we are getting down to the wire in Juco basketball. Here's some of the top matchups coming up next week.
Well, we are in the meat of conference play in basketball with championships being so close. Let's start with D1 men's basketball. Number 6 Odessa versus receiving votes Clarendon. This is not the first matchup between the Wranglers and the Bulldogs. They played about a month ago with Clarendon getting the win. If Clarendon can repeat that victory, it would greatly help their chances of getting a spot to Hutch. In D1 women's basketball, number 10 McLennan versus number 17 Temple. The Highlanders have had to fight their way back after suffering a few big losses this season, but these teams played on January 24th with Temple walking away victorious. And this is a big game for both teams potentially as it impacts both of their national tournament chances. In D2 men's basketball, number 7 Ellsworth versus number 8 Kirkwood. These teams played on January 20th, and Ellsworth got the win. Since then, Ellsworth has lost to Des Moines area and Iowa Lakes. This is a conference that is stacked with good teams, so a win is what both of these schools are looking for. In D2 women's basketball, number 17 Des Moines area versus number 5 Iowa Western. Once again, these teams previously played on January 20th, and Iowa Western got the win. But that was Des Moines area's last loss. Iowa Western only has 2 losses on the season total, and one of those came just a few weeks ago to Kirkwood. And those are just a handful of the games that we will keep an eye on over the next week. Stay tuned, we've got more coming at you after the break.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Welcome back to NJCAA All Access. Our spring sports previews continue with Division II softball. Tons of talent in the top 5, but today we'll look at the top 3 contenders for the NJCAA Division II Softball World Series. First with the favorites, Lewisburg College. The Hurricanes are coming off the best season in program history, in large part because of these two. Division II Player of the Year Brianna Tucker, who hit a whopping .521 as a sophomore last season, and Division II Pitcher of the Year Zoe Jones, who didn't do a lot of losing in her first year, 31-2 record and 170 strikeouts. This season, the Hurricanes lose Tucker, but they keep Zoe Jones and return 4 other first-team NJCAA All-Americans who have combined to produce a 7-0 start in 2024. Now let's look at the champs. Defending the World Series crown from last year is Copiah Lincoln, who took down Jones to clinch their first ever Division II title. They return one of the best players in all of NJCAA Division II softball, Abby Grace Richardson, who was a third-team All-American last year and All-Tournament as well after hitting this grand slam in the championship game. She's already committed to Mississippi State for the 2024-25 season, but will have one final ride with the Wolves as they look to go back-to-back. And lastly, the powerhouse. Phoenix College missed out on the NJCAA World Series last year after falling in the regionals, but have claimed 10 national titles since the turn of the century and will be playing with a vengeance this year. They return All-American Denitza Hernandez, who has some powerful pop, hitting 28 homers last year while slugging .964 at the dish. You might have to look out for the Bears in Spartanburg come late May. One more break on the way, but we close out with the current rankings and a full episode of Juco Gems. Stay with us.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Welcome back to NJCAA All Access. There were some changes across the rankings, so let's start with D1 men's basketball. South Plains still holding down the #1 ranked spot. Vincennes falls to 8th. Salt Lake moves up into the 7th spot. Northwest Florida falls to 10th. A big jump for Chipola. They go from 18th to 11th. Indian Hills also jumps all the way up to 13th. Panola slides down to 18th. And we have a new name this week, Bishop State. In D2 men's basketball, National Park remains #1. We don't have any changes until Iowa Lakes. They fall from 7th to 11th, and St. Clair falling from 13th to 18th. In D3 men's basketball, Brookdale still leading the #1 ranked spot. Minnesota North Rainy River falls to 8th. Prince George's moves down just a few spots. And another new name this week, Quincy College. In D1 women's basketball, lots of movement. Hutchinson still holding on to that #1 spot. Gulf Coast, they fall to 4th. Shelton State coming in at 5th. New Mexico falls to 8th. Southern Idaho moves down to 19th. Mineral Area also moves down to 23rd. And Butler falling to 25th. In D2 women's basketball, Johnson County still claiming that top spot. Mesa falls to 6th. Allen County moving up several spots. Mid-Michigan falling to 20th. And another new name, Bay College, coming in at 19th. And we wrap it up with D3 women's basketball. Rochester still #1. And the only change, Minnesota West and Northland Tech swap places. So they now go 2nd and 3rd. And those are the rankings we got for this week. So it's time for Zach and Juco Gems.
A lot of gems to dig through this week. Baseball and basketball highlights from nearly every corner of the country. But we start down south in MISS, ISS, IPPI, Northeast Mississippi, and Tigers basketball taking on Colin. Last minute of a tight game, Tyler Bird spins and floats a shot off the back iron, and Josh Holman cleans it up with a ruthless putback jam. The freshman forward comes storming in from the three-point line and skies for an all-time poster. Look at the bench reaction. They lose their minds, and rightfully so. It was a crucial dunk as well, as NEMCC would go on to win by 3. On to Barton CC for more high-flying antics. Here's Cooper Jackson on the steal and goes off the glass for LeJay Jones on the slam.
Oh, stick that in your Valentine's box and stuff it.
Fans and the broadcast fired up for that dunk, which looks straight out of the NBA All-Star game. To the salt-stained floors of Utah, Jordan Battle nails this buzzer beater before the break from long range. Stuck the pose on the shot as well, as he gets nothing but nylon, and the Bruins added 3 more at the half. They'd win 76-64 over CSI. On to baseball. Going to be hard to see, but center fielder Kevin Smith, looking like Kevin Kiermaier, takes off and crash lands to steal extra bases. Here's what it looked like up close as Smith somersaults out of a stellar catch for East Florida State. And we close out in Coastal Carolina, where Heartland baseball alum Sam Antonacci is already making plays for his new squad, snagging a bullet down the line. We talked about him last week in the D2 preview, but the former player of the year already making an impact with the Chanticleers, and his highlight ends today's Juco Gems.
Another week of great submissions for Juco Gems, and we love seeing our student athletes from across the country every week. So keep sending us them at NJCAA Network.
And that puts a nice bow on today's NJCAA All Access. That's all we got for you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back here next Thursday, and we'll see you then. Take care.